So the Insta360 GO3 just came out, and I wanted to share my thoughts on some of the big improvements over the GO2. So let's find out what they are.
Mr. Black.
By the way, welcome to the channel. My name is Danny Black. I love to share with you cool gear that comes my way. Also share with you some tips and tricks on how to use that gear. And if you're new here, don't be a stranger. I'll put links to everything down in the description, plus a surprise link, so check it all out down there. And I'll keep this fairly simple because when you're looking at the GO2 and the GO3 from Insta360, well, there are some major upgrades. Now, when you're looking at just the camera, I mean, you won't see too much of a difference, except that the GO3 is a little bit bigger in size. They have these notches on here for mounting, which is actually genius. And although the picture quality does seem to look better, and the sound seems similar, and you can press them both to start and stop recording, and they're both waterproof. Well, the actual big change of this comes with the housing, or as Insta360 calls it, the action pod. And when I say it's a big change, I mean it's exactly what they needed to do to make this a lot more easier and more fun to use. So the GO2, which at the time was very creative and innovative, you put your camera in right here, magnetically connects to it, it charges it up. I mean, this hinge has lasted a long time, definitely really quality made. You have these little plastic kind of dodgy legs that pop out, but you can also stand it up on your desk to make a little bit of a tripod and angle it. There is a small little screen on here to display your modes, and you can switch some settings, but mainly you'd be using your phone and the app to be able to see your shot. And not that that was a bad thing, it just kind of made this a little bit harder to use, and basically just made this more of housing and a battery charger. And speaking of the battery actually lasts 50% longer on the GO3, where you can get 45 minutes of recording standalone, and you get 170 minutes with the action pod. However, that testing is just with 1080p video, the screen display turned off, and Wi-Fi disabled, and all of that stuff. But that's all still relative because it's 50% more battery life than what you'd get on the GO2. But this action pod is definitely one of the big features, one of the big upgrades to making this just a phenomenal little camera. It's a touch screen, which is also very easy to navigate around, and the touch is very smooth. We could preview your shot from the back, or you can flip it up if you're talking to the camera and doing like more of a vlogging style. You could easily frame up your shot that way. And again, the screen just makes it so much easier to change your settings, change to different modes. And some of these settings on here are great. I mean, on the main menu, you get the quick capture, which means that when you hit record on the top, it'll actually boot it up and start recording immediately. And then when you hit it again, it will actually power it off. And you can even go further into those settings, and you could set it to like double tap, just in case it's in your bag and it accidentally turns it on with one tap. You also have a side button on here that you can customize to get it to certain settings faster. And also on that main menu, you can enable voice commands to activate it just by speaking to it. You could turn on timed capture, so then you can just set this thing up, set it for a certain time, and then it will turn on and start recording or start a time lapse, which also makes that perfect if you're trying to get like a nighttime star lapse. You could set this thing out at nighttime, have it set for 2 o'clock in the morning, and then let the time lapse kind of run its course. You could turn on the pre-record function, which means it will be recording continually, but kind of like recycling every 10, 15, or 30 seconds. So then when you hit the record button, it's already been recording for that pre-length of time, which is perfect if you're doing trick shots or if you're trying to capture lightning or something like that. I do love how when you're in video mode, you can easily go in and adjust the settings on here. And even just through auto, we'll set those settings depending on if it's your face or if it's just something that's in the center of the frame. Or you can just manually program, which will help to change those, like if you're in low light or just different scenarios. Now, I can go on and on about the custom settings and how to use it in different scenarios, but we'll save that for a future video. But for this video, we're just specifically talking about the difference between the GO2 and GO3. But there you have it. I guess to sum it all up, it's basically that you have the action pod, which does so much more than just what the GO2 case could do. If you're looking for a fun camera, yeah, here it is right here. But that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I have a lot of really cool stuff happening on this channel very soon, and some giveaways and things that you don't want to miss. So yeah, again, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Mr. Black.